The Brooklyn Nets ended a 13-game losing streak to the Milwaukee Bucks here at home at the Barclays Center with a 113-111 victory. And the story of the game wasn't the fact that they ended a 13-game losing streak, but the big shot by Joe Johnson in overtime that gave them the victory. He also had a big shot at the end of regulation. Hi, I'm Dexter Henry for NetsDaily.com. Joined as always during the postgame by Tom Lorenzo, the great writer for NetsDaily.com. And Tom, Joe Johnson did it once again. He was clutch for the Nets. What do you have to say about him?
I mean, what can you say? It was hero ball for Joe Johnson. Had the big three at the end of regulation, then the pull-up jumper to win the game. 24 points for Johnson. Again, look, this guy, ball in the hand, end of the game, you trust him almost. You feel confident, and I think that's a big thing. With Joe Johnson has the ball in his hand at the end of the game, you feel confident. And, the team was looking to him. And even though the Bucks knew at the end of the overtime that Johnson was going to get the ball, they ISO'd him enough. He took the dribble, made the cross, stepped back, and hit the jumper. It was a fantastic performance and a great shot at the end of the game.
Great shot, and if you're a Net fan, you have to be confident. Word of the day from Tom, they won their 10th consecutive overtime game. That's big. After the game, had a chance to talk to Joe Johnson, hear what he had to say about the big shot and the big win for the Nets coming off of the All-Star break.
It's an unbelievable feeling, man. Regardless of the situation, whether it's regular season or playoffs, it's always a great feeling. And, just to see everybody kind of explode and the excitement in the building is probably the best feeling. These are the type of games, you're going to have to drag games out, tough games out like these. And, this was definitely a first test for us, the team who's beat us 13 straight games. And, now that we've over the hump, hopefully we can go in Milwaukee and steal another one.
Yesterday, as you saw on NetsDaily.com, I had the opportunity to head out to Nets practice, their first since the All-Star break, and we saw Deron Williams talk a little bit about his PRP treatment, and today he hit the court. And Tom, he looked to be moving a lot better. 19 points, 9 assists. The turnovers were still high with 6. But what did you think of his performance tonight?
Coming off the treatment, it was a very good performance. I think the one thing that Deron Williams needs to continue to work on is his defense. We saw with a quicker point guard like Brandon Jennings, he was easily getting by Deron Williams, getting some open looks. It was tough for him to keep up with him. It's been a problem for most of the year for Williams, so it's not as if the ankles right now are a concern or this is something new. We're continuing to see him struggle against smaller, quicker point guards. So again, it's something they have to work on and maybe even help defense if they recognize that Williams is getting beat around the corner. So, but overall, I think his performance looked good. Again, he led that offense, kept that team in check, kept them in check down the stretch. So good performance, not a great performance by Deron Williams.
Definitely not, and it'll be interesting to see how he recovers. Remember, this is the first of a back-to-back in the home-and-home series with Milwaukee, so they'll play again tomorrow night. And Deron said after the game that he'll see how he feels in the morning and if there'll be any precautions for him in tomorrow night's game against Milwaukee. Obviously, Nets fans, we know the thing on your mind this week are the trade rumors. Last week, I used the word crazy. I'm not going to make up any words this week, Tom, but there have been a ton of rumors floating around. Josh Smith's name is still out there, but the interesting thing that came down earlier today before this game was Billy King said that there was probably a 10% chance, there's a number on that, Nets fans, that the Brooklyn Nets would make a deal. Is there anything new out there, and is the chances of the Nets making a deal pretty unlikely at this point?
It still seems unlikely. You're hearing little rumors here and there. I know the Dwight Merrick continues. We keep hearing Dwight Howard's name. Chris Sheridan said 50-50 chance that Dwight Howard comes to the Nets. Look, I just don't think it can happen in this short of time, getting something together, especially when we're not really hearing much movement in that sense. Josh Smith, Dwight Howard, Paul Millsap, all these names. Look, at the end of the day, I think they're trying. Will they come up with something? Sure, they might, but I don't think it's going to be that big move that people are speculating or looking for. But you know what? When you look at the performance of this team against a team like Milwaukee, a quick team, a playoff team, do they really need that big move, or do they just need to continue to progress? And I think we're seeing tonight that they continue to progress offensively. They don't need to make that big flashy splash move. They just get a useful piece and get some help, and continue to progress with the team they have.
We are going to keep our eye on any potential moves, any other news we hear on NetsDaily.com. That's a wrap for this game. The Nets win it 113-111 over the Milwaukee Bucks. They'll look to make it 2 in a row over the Bucks and after the All-Star break tomorrow night. For Tom Lorenzo, I'm Dexter Henry for NetsDaily.com.